Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you've ever wondered how we can actually merge agriculture, education, and economic freedom into a single, breathing entity, you are going to absolutely love this one. Today, we're diving into a truly fascinating blueprint for scalable rural regeneration. It's called the KwaMasi Agroecology Hub, and it's situated right in Ward 6 of the Zvimba District in Zimbabwe. Right off the bat, you need to hear the core philosophy driving this entire initiative. Learning is lived, not taught. KwaMasi isn't your traditional training program. You know the type, sitting in a classroom taking endless notes. No, this is a pathfinder model. It's all about literally getting your hands in the soil and physically experiencing the very systems you're trying to build. Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with a living rural ecosystem, go inside the Agroecology Hub, follow the women's apprenticeship journey, rethink regenerative finance, and finally wrap up by measuring the ripple effect. Let's jump right into Section 1, a living rural ecosystem, and how that ties into ward-based regeneration. Think of this ward-based regeneration model as the big picture, the macro vision of KwaMasi. It is a system where education, agroecology, women's leadership, and enterprise development don't just exist side by side in separate silos. They operate as one fully integrated ecosystem. The hub connects farming and community leadership to anchor sustainable practices directly into local households and schools. They're basically all moving gears in a single well-oiled machine. Moving on to Section 2, inside the Agroecological Hub. This is the literal and figurative soil of the model. The hub itself is divided into these highly active learning environments. First up, you have the agroecology demo site, which showcases real-world food forests, soil regeneration, and water-smart agriculture. Then there's the Youth Skills Lab, which shifts the focus over to enterprise skills. Think nursery management, composting, and agro-processing. And crucially, there's the Indigenous Seed Center. This acts like a vault, safeguarding traditional crops alongside some incredibly valuable ecological wisdom. Together, this is the structural foundation where all that community growth begins. But here's the kicker. The hub doesn't keep this knowledge walled off. It actively reaches outward. It equips locals with hands-on skills through short courses in farmer training. It facilitates school immersions, which are perfectly aligned with Zimbabwe's heritage curriculum, providing true experiential eco-education. They also host farmer field days for open learning, and perhaps most importantly, they drive community replication by training lead farmers to take these exact practices right back into their own villages. All right, Section 3, the woman's apprenticeship journey. Let's look at planting the seed.
18. Why is that number so significant here? Well, it's actually doing double duty. First, 18 represents the target age for the young women recruited into this program, right after they complete their O-level secondary exams. But 18 is also the exact duration, in months, of this intensive residential program. It's a time frame that beautifully aligns with the local school calendar.
And this timeline builds into a really tightly structured pathway. So, right after recruitment, year 1 is all about foundations. It's orienting the apprentices and having them master soil, water, and plant systems while shadowing eco-education programs. Then, year 2 shifts into advanced practice. That means developing leadership, facilitation skills, and actual enterprise incubation. When they graduate, they don't just walk away with a permaculture design certificate, they form a united women-led enterprise cluster, and get this, they instantly qualify for seed capital. Which perfectly segues into Section 4, rethinking regenerative finance. This is how we nourish all that growth.
Because, let's be real, education and training without access to capital usually hit a brick wall. Enter the KwaMasi Eco Fund, or KEF. This is a women-led regenerative finance consortium designed specifically to unlock economic freedom for rural women who have historically just been completely excluded from formal finance systems. It's the essential financial nourishment that funds these apprentices' newly born enterprises. KEF totally replaces standard lending models. Instead of traditional, high-barrier, cash-only lending, KEF takes a different approach. They provide asset-based seed capital, ongoing skill support, and shared ownership of agro-value chains. This isn't just about handing over a check. It's about providing the exact physical assets and structural backing needed for these new enterprise clusters to really thrive out in the market. But the absolute genius of this model, the circularity. They are reinvesting returns to fund the next generation of enterprises.
By cycling those returns right back into the system, CAKES creates this incredible self-sustaining loop of economic freedom. Simply put, the success of today's cohort directly finances the opportunities for tomorrow's. And finally, Section 5, Measuring the Ripple Effect. Let's watch those seeds spread. To make sure these apprentices are truly ready for the real world, KwaMasi integrates some seriously rigorous monitoring, evaluation, and learning systems. They're tracking competency in hard skills like agroecology and permaculture design, while also conducting monthly evaluations on vital soft skills, things like teamwork, leadership, and confidence. And finally, they rigorously assess enterprise readiness. They want to ensure every single group is operationally, financially, and market prepared before they even think about launching. And all of that structured evaluation leads to some seriously impressive, verifiable data. We're talking tangible outcomes here, training 12 women per cohort to establish one brand new enterprise cluster every single year. On top of that, the hub facilitates over 200 school tours annually. And if we zoom out to the community level, they are actively documenting increased household incomes through savings records, alongside major bumps in food production across dairy, mushroom, and basic crop outputs. It's a real game changer. And remember, Ward 6 is just the pathfinder. Over an ambitious 5-year timeline, the impact is designed to scale dramatically. Year 1 was all about establishing the Ward 6 model. Years 2 through 4 are dedicated to anchoring that replication right across local households and schools. And by year 5, the goal is to replicate this entire successful ecosystem in at least 3 surrounding wards. It's a localized success story built from the ground up, entirely designed to scale.
So, we've seen how young women, land, skills, and capital can completely transform an ecosystem when they are integrated properly. It leaves us with this final thought for you to ponder. How could a lived learning model like this transform a community near you? I really hope this explainer has sparked your curiosity about the true power of regenerative, ward-based ecosystems. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.